KY3 News starts with breaking news.
A Buffalo woman charged with making threats to kill FBI agents, all in the name of the terrorist group ISIS. Good evening to you. I'm Lisa Rose.
And I'm Steve Grant. This woman, 38-year-old Safia Yassin, was arrested in Buffalo today after an investigation found she was using social media linked to the terrorist group to make threats of murder.
KY3's Linda Russell is live at the home where Yassin was taken into custody. Linda?
Well, the FBI raided this house on the edge of Buffalo on Chisholm Trail around 8 or 9 o'clock this morning, and they were here on the scene until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. There were dozens of law enforcement officers here, most of them being federal agents, also some Missouri State Highway Patrol and Dallas County Sheriff's deputies assisting. Now, the FBI brought in its mobile command unit. There was some white trucks they were working out of, and they wore white Tyvek suits as they entered the house over and over again. A neighbor saw a woman brought out in handcuffs this morning, plus an older man and 2 children, he says. The U.S. Attorney's Office says now that 38-year-old Safia Yassin is charged with making violent threats over the internet. Investigators that say she had several social media accounts and used a Twitter account associated with the Islamic terrorist group ISIL to post a threat against 2 FBI agents. Court documents say in August, Yassin posted the names, home addresses, and phone numbers of 2 FBI agents under the words "wanted to kill." Neighbors say they had noticed people in different cars parked along their street over the last several months that appeared to be watching something. They'd even reported that activity to the sheriff's office. Now, neighbors say the family moved in last summer but really kept to themselves, the children never playing outside. Pauline Davies happened to catch this morning's raid just looking out her kitchen window.
They just swarmed that whole corner over there, some to the side, some to the back, and the front was covered. And then I'm going to say within, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, I heard this shotgun blast, sound like a shotgun blast shot off, and then I seen them bringing a person or 2 out. They set them out front. I don't know what it is, but at least they've cleaned up what they were after from the looks of it. So, like I say, I'll sleep better tonight.
Now, of course, word spread fast that the FBI was here in Buffalo, and a lot of concern throughout the day. There were rumors about ISIS, and it turns out that that is somewhat true with the woman who was arrested here by FBI agents using that Twitter account associated with ISIS. The school district sent out an email this afternoon telling concerned parents that the schools were never in any danger and were never on lockdown. Reporting live in Buffalo, Linda Russell, KY3 News.
Okay, Linda, thanks very much for that report. Steve and I have been poring over this 17-page criminal complaint. Very interesting reading, to say the very least. And, of course, we were talking about Yassin actually having threatened 2 FBI agents, allegedly, through social media. And after supplying, like Linda said, their numbers, their pictures, their addresses, she had this quote: "Rejoice, O supporters of the Caliphate State, with the dissemination of the information to be delivered to lone wolves, God said, and slay them whenever you may come upon them." And she alluded to this. ISIS may be what facilitated the end war.
Also, this is not the first time that the FBI has encountered Yassin. Just last June, they visited her at her home in Bolivar, where they showed her screenshots of her Facebook and Twitter accounts and postings. She acknowledged that she did that, but was only reporting the news, not trying to radicalize people in the Ozarks or across the United States.
And actually detailed in here is how the FBI came to notice Yassin's Twitter account. It's because a Facebook friend actually called with a complaint saying that Yassin had become convinced that ISIS is going to save the world, and that Yassin was actually trying to rally support for ISIS.
And she also bragged about how easy it was to get on Twitter if Twitter took you off their page in the social media. She had 97 Twitter accounts using the name Muslama very often in her post. And the most dramatic post that is listed here in the affidavit that the federal court provided this afternoon says, and this was made last year, "Americans aren't smart enough to know where to cut on a neck." And there is a picture of a neck and a torso and a dotted line across the base of the neck, and she had put the words, they allege, "cut here." We'll have more on the coverage of Yassin's arrest in Buffalo, also what else is in this affidavit, which you can see on the attachments in our stories on KY3.com.
In other news tonight, a man near Sparta, Missouri has found what looks like a landmine. As KY3's Drew Douglas reports, there was never any danger, but where did it come from?
At Fort Barnes Military Surplus in Ozark, you can get paperweights that look like hand grenades. You can also get actual collectible military guns modified so they'll never function again. And even modern-era cluster bombs, which have no ability to explode.
You know, we don't get a lot of collectibles, but we do get some collectibles like this where we actually get the inert stuff that was training devices.
Store owner Jason Barnes says fake explosives used for training are usually painted blue.
The thing about the inert rounds is a lot of people, just for collectability's sake, will take inert rounds and they will paint them. You know, you can find on the internet what the rounds actually look like.
On Monday afternoon, a man near Sparta found this landmine and called authorities. He found it in a pickup truck he had recently bought from a government agency in Kansas.
Initially, the Ozark Fire Department and the Christian County Sheriff weren't exactly sure what they were dealing with, so they called the Fort Leonard Wood Bomb Squad down to take a look at it.
So they came down, take a look at it, x-rayed the item, come to find out it is inert, and it is a training device, never intended to blow up, never intended to have anything other than training capabilities for the military.
Like the paperweights and other collectibles, it had no ability to cause harm, but it looked scary. Barnes says he's never had something like that in his store. It must be rare.
You know, there's a collector market out there, even from World War II, to where things were released easier. But no, they're not readily available.
In Christian County, Drew Douglas, KY3 News.
The Fort Wood bomb team did keep the inert landmine.
Well, it feels like we're in California right now, but oh, that dry and windy weather, grass fires can quickly get out of control. This is from northwest of Kansas City today. At least 1,300 acres were scorched. At least 2 barns were destroyed as the fire burned across Platte County over to Leavenworth, Kansas. No word on what started it. It was fought by firemen from Missouri and Kansas.
The Ozarks was blasted, of course, by warm winds, temperatures in the mid-70s in some places. Chief Meteorologist Ron Hurst joined us now. And to talk about that red flag warning, has it been lifted, Ron?
No, Lisa, that's going to remain in effect until 9 o'clock tonight. It covers most of the Ozarks. I mean, there's only a handful of counties out east that it does not cover. And so with the grass being dry, the humidity being very low, and the winds remaining strong through the evening, that fire danger is going to continue. So this is going to be posted until 9 p.m. And even after that, I wouldn't run right outside and burn the trash because conditions are still tender dry. Peak winds here in Springfield today, 45 miles per hour, even up in Benton County. Tom Eckhoff called, said he was gusting 43, 45 miles per hour. Lots of fires out in our northwestern counties this afternoon. Winds a little calmer down into north central Arkansas, but not by a heck of a lot. So the big question is what's going to happen with the winds? Well, they're going to continue to be really gusty through the entire night, at times between 35 and 40 miles per hour. They're not going to calm down until sometime tomorrow. Lisa?
Ron Hurst, thank you. We'll talk to you again later. A new study says Arkansas has the fastest growing prison population in the country, up 30% over the past decade, while the state's crime rate has declined. The cost of housing inmates jumped 69% during that time. Arkansas prison officials and lawmakers say those findings will help develop new prison policy for the Arkansas legislature to consider. That study was done by a Washington-based nonprofit, nonpartisan criminal justice group.
Well, she was just a child when she was asked to carry a bouquet of flowers to a charismatic German leader. Now, decades later, she shares her account for the first time. Hannah Lohr remembers vividly the moment, but she had no idea who Adolf Hitler would eventually become. Now, 87 years old, she spent her childhood in war-torn Germany and says she will never forget the day her hometown came under siege.
I never seen the sky so beautiful. Even had no idea it was fiery red. Cologne was burning.
Tonight at 10, KY3's Emily Wood shares Ms. Hoke's incredible story, including what brought her to America. Witness to History airs right here at 10.
That's something. You want your home to be a safe place for your child, but common household products can be deadly.
There have been situations where we've been called where a parent doesn't necessarily know the child got into it and puts them to bed, and it becomes a fatality because they just don't wake up.
Next, in Contact KY3, the products youngsters often mistake for juice or candy.
Number 1 in the Ozarks. You're watching KY3 News at 6 with Lisa Rose, Steve Grant, Storm Team meteorologist Ron Hurst, and sports with Chad Klein. the place to be. On air, online, on the go.
Well, this suddenly warmer weather might have you thinking about getting into that spring cleaning.
So listen up, parents and those who care for young children. Many of the household products we have can be deadly. Children often mistake them for candy or juice.
Here's Contact KY3's Ashley Reynolds on how to better protect your little ones.
It looks like candy.
These colorful gummy-like products can look tasty to a child.
It makes you want to pick them up and play with them, and these can just be so dangerous.
While the containers are no longer see-through, experts say if you have small kiddos, laundry pods should not be in your home.
The younger children, especially under 12 months of age, when they get into these, it really can slow down and stop their breathing. We've had to have children put on a ventilator to help them breathe because of the irritation from this.
Kids have died.
Kids have died from ingestion of the laundry pods.
You know, you just look at this, and if you're just comparing liquid to liquid, wow.
Gatorade versus window washer solution.
This contains methanol. 1 teaspoonful in a child can cause blindness.
And what about the scope? Scope has alcohol in it, right?
Yes. And that's something that so many parents don't really realize, and the concentration can be up to 62% alcohol. Just a shot of it is enough that can, in a young child, lower their blood sugar or slow down or stop their breathing. There have been situations where we've been called where a parent doesn't necessarily know the child got into it and puts them to bed, and it becomes a fatality because they just don't wake up.
Pine Sol looks like apple juice.
If your kid likes apple juice, you probably buy a lot of it and stock up on it. And also in that bottom cabinet is a cleaning cabinet.
Yes, it is. And it's things that children might want to help themselves too.
Purple Skull and bubble gum are nearly packaged the same. Antifreeze or condiment.
You go to grab the ketchup, and what if you grab this bottle?
Keep these products locked up.
You also have to get them in an area that it's out of sight. Children can just be ingenious, and they can take cabinet drawers and make them into steps and climb up on top of the refrigerator.
For Contact KY3, I'm Ashley Reynolds.
If you suspect your child swallowed poison, always call the Poison Control Center, 1-800-222-1222. You'll be speaking directly with a nurse or a pharmacist, which is much faster and more accurate than going on a Google search about what to do. Last year, more than 60 children went to the Mercy ER here in Springfield for accidental ingestion of things like laundry pods, button batteries, eye drops, and tiki fuel for torches.
And now a KY3 traffic alert. You can expect some slowdowns tonight on Campbell Avenue. Northbound traffic will be down to 1 lane on Campbell. That's south of Primrose. It's because of the Campbell-Primrose intersection project there. The lane closure starts at 9 o'clock this evening and should reopen for full travel tomorrow morning by drive time.
And children and their parents are taking to the airways for the next 2 days to tell their miracle stories. This year, Power 96.5 is teaming up with News Talk 104 and The River for the annual radio-a-thon for the Children's Miracle Network. The special broadcast runs through Saturday and is one of CNN's biggest fundraisers of the year.
I have a 5-year-old nephew. His name's Hunter, cutest kid in the world, and I think if something happened to him, I would hope someone would be there for him. And there is someone here for him because it's the Children's Miracle Network. So I do it for him because, you know, if something happened to him, I would be devastated.
And as we like to say, all of the money raised in the Ozarks for the Children's Miracle Network stays in the Ozarks.
To bless our little kids, huh? Well, springtime weather in the middle of February. Couldn't ask for anything better. Oh, maybe a little less wind. If you liked it, tomorrow will be more of the same.
Send us some pictures if you see flowers blooming. Ron is next with how soon the wind will slow down and if sunniness will hold out through the weekend.
And now, your KY3 Storm Team forecast.
Well, good evening, everyone. Today's been about two things. One, the record high temperature that was set in Springfield today, or at least high. The other has been the winds, and the winds, of course, creating a very dangerous fire situation, mainly to the north and to the west of Springfield, and where winds were gusting between 45 and 50 miles per hour this afternoon. So let's start with that. What are the winds going to do this evening? Well, unfortunately, they're going to continue to remain strong and gusty as we go through the night. I mean, even at 4 o'clock in the morning, we're talking about winds still gusting to nearly 40 miles per hour across southern Missouri. Missouri. By the time we get into the early morning hours, the gusty wind's starting to settle down at least just a little bit, but it's really in the afternoon when that wind is finally going to die back enough that is no longer become a real threat. So we can't kind of wait for that. That's be a very good thing. Notice by late in the day, our winds actually come out of the northwest, and that's because the little weak frontal boundary is going to lie right along the interstate. So the red flag warning, if you're just joining us, remains in effect until 9 p.m. tonight. It covers most of the Ozarks. There's just a handful of counties out here to the far east that are not covered by that, so please, no burning anything through the evening. Now today, record high temperatures, I said, was tied in Springfield. We hit 74. Last time we did that was 1948 on this date, 74 degrees, so we were way, way above average today. Checking in the weather watchers, just a glorious day across the area. Not as warm in Rolla, just 63 degrees up there in Phelps County. Plato at 67, 68 coming in from Gloria Noah down at Theodosia. But notice 72 in Harrison, 71 in Marshall. Out to the northwest, it was 73 degrees in Morrisville. And Alice Kugler and Cross Timbers reported a temperature of 71 today. Beautiful sunset up here at Lake of the Ozarks at J.B. Hook's restaurant tonight. You may want to go up there to a restaurant and kind of catch that. 68 here in Springfield. We have a clear sky, humidity really, really low at 20%, and wind steady out of the south right now at 18 miles an hour. Satellite picture shows that high cloud cover that we had earlier today giving way to a clear sky, and it looks like we're going to keep that clear sky for much of the night. Now, as the front approaches tomorrow morning, we'll actually see some cloud cover begin to increase slightly as the humidity increases. Again, this thing comes into the area tomorrow. It's not going to give us any rain, not going to cool the temperatures down, at least not immediately, but the boundary's going to hang around long enough that on Sunday we'll have a chance for some showers. So what to expect in the morning? Notice how mild these temperatures are. I mean, our average high temperature is 47 degrees right now, so we're going to be about 10 degrees above that here in Springfield. So no problem getting us into the middle to upper 60s by the lunch hour, and I think many of us will still be back in the low 70s again tomorrow. Keep in mind, models have done a horrible job with this dry ground. In fact, they were off by at least 7 degrees today. So I think we're going to have another nice day tomorrow. All right, our forecast then for tonight, we'll see some cloud cover show up by morning. Our overnight temperatures will drop into the mid-50s. Winds will be out of the south at 15 to 30 miles an hour. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy skies. High temperatures back in the low 70s. Winds not as strong as today. They'll be southwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And as we look down the road the next 7 days, we head on into the weekend. Saturday, mostly cloudy, back to 68. Sunday, there's a chance for showers. In fact, there may be a rumble or two of thunder. And then next week, I notice our temperatures start to cool back towards average, but nothing too bitterly cold. Stephen,
Lisa? He was a rumble or two of thunder.
Bears just underway at Wichita. Chad tells us the what new club MSU wants to stay out of.
Also, look who's back and calling out the doubters about the Royals being in the 2016 World Series.
Sports with Chad Plum starts now.
Good evening, everybody. It has been 5 seasons since the MSU Bears won at Wichita, but it's not just the Bears. The Shockers had the nation-leading 43-game home court winning streak snapped by UNI over the weekend, and the Bears, they're now hoping they aren't win number 1 of a new streak. This one just underway at Koch Arena. How about Obadiah Church? He looks good early on as the Bears are trying to keep up. Last check, though, Wichita State leading 17-8. Highlights of this one come your way tonight at 9 and 10. Drury hosting Maryville in a doubleheader. Lady Panthers looking for their 11th straight win. Men tipping at 7:45. Highlights at 9 and 10. The world champion Kansas City Royals pitchers and catchers reported to surprise Arizona this morning, and let the prognostications begin. Many out there with their tea leaves and crystal balls believe the Royals will fall short of returning to the postseason. That despite the back-to-back World Series appearances. Kansas City says they know what they have, and they just need to focus on what they do.
You can't consume yourself with what other people think or what they predict because it's meaningless. It doesn't tell the story. The script will be written. I don't know how it's going to be written, but it'll be written.
State Wrestling Championships have begun up in Columbia. Up-to-the-minute results can be found online right here at OzarksSportZone.com. 120 local grapplers at the state tournament. Can't mention all their names. Pat and Vanna wouldn't be happy. But how about Reed Springs' Broden LeMaster? He broke his jaw in January, did not wrestle, won his opening round match. He is now 23-0. All those results, all those records found online at OzarksSportZone.com. Speaking of state titles, they've done it again. Norfolk, Arkansas boys bowling. The team with a town with no bowling alley, captured their second straight Arkansas State Bowling Championship. 5 titles now in just 9 years of existence. And finally, this was Camdenton on Tuesday night, senior night. Team manager Brendan Galbraith getting an NBA range 3-pointer to go. The gym goes crazy. They chant for Bobo. Brendan Galbraith, the amazing 3, thanks to Lake TV at Lake of the Ozarks for sharing this video. An amazing night up there for the Lakers. We'll have much more coming away tonight at 9 and 10.
That Norfolk thing is going to be a movie one of these days.
No bowling alley. They win state titles.
All right. We'll be right back.
Oh, so busy. That was on the new news today when the egg lady, Jo Manhart, tried to break one of her own personal records of how many omelets she could make in 3 minutes. So Steve got cracking, so to speak.
Yes.
And Brandon helped plate the finished product.
Well, now, while Jo didn't beat her record, she did tie it with 5, count them, 5 omelets in 3 minutes of airtime. That's 1 omelet every 36 seconds. Now, the egg lady's recipe on the quick and easy omelet is online at Taste the Ozarks at ky3.com. Enjoy. Good night.